This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Sophia Yvette.
Welcome to the Good Neighbor Podcast. Are you in need of a child and adolescent life coach? Well, one may be closer than you think. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing your good neighbor, Hannah Curtis with LifeTalk. Hannah, how are you today?
I'm so good. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, pleasure to have you on. Now, we're excited to learn all about you and your business. Can you start off by telling our listeners just a little bit about your company?
Of course. Yeah, so I started LifeTalk about a year ago, and it's child and adolescent life coaching, as you said, very rooted in life skills and just executive function, helping kids kind of fill the gaps in education, things they don't learn in school these days that are so important in navigating our very chaotic world.
Wow, that is very important, especially in this day and time. Now, Hannah, how did you originally get started in this business?
Yeah, so it's kind of a long saga. I'll shorten it up. But I was actually on a walk with my mom when I was like 12, and I remember asking her something about like taxes or insurance, something boring that I was like, huh? How do I navigate this? She's like, and I asked when I would learn it in school, and she was like, oh, you kind of don't. And I was like, wait, what? That was my problem solve for the things that didn't really make sense to me. And I was a pretty good student. And so figuring out like what else we didn't learn in school has always been my passion. And I just kind of always felt drawn to like, what about all the stuff that we don't learn, including relationships, self-awareness, how do we find our passion and do that for work and try to make money in that, and, healthy conflict. There's a myriad of topics, but that was really where it started. And I kind of just constantly felt drawn back to like, but what about the things we don't learn? So that was really the genesis of it.
Wow, that's amazing. Sounds like you're a really smart child.
In some ways. I also just had to learn a lot. I think I was just really curious. I asked.
Curiosity is always good. Now, what is the most common myth or misconception you come across in your industry on the day-to-day?
So a lot of people ask me, like, what's the perfect client for you? And I think, although I have a lot of kiddos who are ADHD or, like they're just kind of struggling with these executive function skills, that's perfect and awesome. But I think in a preventative space, any child can benefit from this type of coaching, primarily because although, therapy is super important as well. And I always say, I think the best scenario is having a coach and a therapist for any human at any time. But coaching is really like future focused. And how do we see the things that we struggle with and see these barriers in the road and along our journey, but like keep going and building those resilient muscles and just like navigating in problem solving. I always say, building our life skills toolbox is kind of my specific niche, like I tell them to picture a fanny pack, and I'm like, I can't prevent the world from throwing barriers in your way. But what I can give you are tools in your toolbox so you can open that little fanny pack and pull out a tool that day and use that, so you're not completely just stuck by whatever conflict may come up that day because you never learned those skills, So I think that's primarily the main myth. Everyone can benefit.
Well, and every time we face a new obstacle, we gain a new perspective, and that opens a new door to life for us. So it's all for the best at the end of the day.
Yep. And building our, growth mindset, I think too, is a huge part of it. Our autonomy, all of those things. Very, very, very big part of my framework.
I could not agree more. And where does your love of helping children come from for you?
I've just always loved babies and kids. Like it's always been my thing. I always tell my friends, like, I'm not the biggest animal person. Like I do love them, but I would say like I'm walking and I notice babies and kids. I'm like, oh my gosh, hi, I want to talk to them and hear about their world. And they're over there petting dogs. I'm over there like, hi, how old's your kid? So it's just, I think I've always had a love for like helping kids grow and be their best selves. And I think no matter your age, I work with ages 5 to 20. But no matter your age, there's always things in pursuit of lifelong growth that we can learn and build. And I think that that's a beautiful pursuit. So I just try to help them kind of, grow that muscle and build that toolbox.
Most definitely. And I really could talk about that with you all day long, but we only have a limited time today. So let's switch gears. Now, we know marketing is the heart of every business. How do you currently attract your target audience?
So I'm basically just in a lot of networking groups. And so I'm kind of I would say like with people and direct, I need to, and I think the best way is to really explain what this coaching looks like and how I work with kids. Cause it's, in today's world, I think we know coaching as executive coaching, relationship coaching, but I think working with children specifically is a little bit more nuanced and a little bit newer. So I really like to explain that and give them kind of the details. And that's really where I see a lot of benefit and a lot of referrals coming. So networking is huge. And I also do coaching in 2 formats, which I call LifeTalk and LifeWalk. So I have an office space that I use. And so we market a lot there and do events. And then I do life walks in nature because we just need to be outside more. We're at computers so much.
I agree 100%. Now, have you ever thought of having your own podcast?
Yeah, I actually used to. I used to want to do a podcast I was going to call it Gap School because the gaps of things we don't learn in school. And each episode was going to be like a gap in education. So that was kind of the it's still a goal, I would say, long term. It just, so many things on our to-do list.
Most definitely. And outside of work, what do you like to do for fun?
Oh my gosh, so many things. Recently I've taken up biking. I'm a big biker now. And then I go to Pilates, like it's my job. I love Pilates. Just pretty much anything outside. I've attempted to take up golf, but it is a very difficult skill. So we're all the different, I have my, my hands in all these different fitness pursuits, but we're growing, trying new things, very important.
Always. Now, Hannah, please tell the listeners one thing they should remember about LifeTalk.
One thing they should remember. I just think that, there's so many life skills that the education system doesn't, not that, teachers are doing the best they can with the tools they have. I think there's so much more of these kind of more quote unquote soft skills that we need to be learning that we just don't talk about. And I think even just bringing the topic up of like, how do you navigate relationships? What do you think about with your friends? And are you hanging out with the right people? Or, how can we have a conversation that's a little bit more of a harder one and healthy conflict? Like having that topic even brought up is so beneficial to young people today. And they're so much more resilient than I think we give them credit for. So I feel like that's a really big takeaway that I like to reinforce.
Well, I sincerely could not agree with you more, especially when it comes to education and the importance of it and for our future generations. So, Hannah, what our listeners really want to know today is where can they go to learn more about LifeTalk?
Great question. So my website is lifetalk.info. And then I have all of my socials linked on there as well. But I'm on Instagram. It's at LifeTalk Life Coaching. So double life, don't forget. And then that's also Facebook, TikTok, and LinkedIn as well.
Well, Hannah, I really appreciate you being on the show today, and we wish you and your business the best moving forward.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpfrisco.com. That's gnpfrisco.com or call 469-221-9345.